You guys thought about the Masters Olympia?
Absolutely, yeah.
This is Yaakov Baram with Masters Muscle, and today we're going to talk about the return of the Masters Mr. Olympia. There was a Menace podcast that had Jake Wood, who is the owner of Mr. Olympia, and Dennis James, and I'm going to show you some highlights from this podcast, and we're going to talk about the upcoming Mr. Masters Olympia.
You guys thought about the Masters Olympia?
Absolutely, yeah. Matter of fact, we had started plans to have the Masters Olympia in Romania this coming year, but upon looking at the immigration policies and people actually getting in, we decided it was just going to be too risky for such a big event. And
So you wouldn't want it at the Olympia weekend?
I think that would be too much at the Olympia weekend. So
Like
no,
on the expo stage, maybe? Or
no, I think it deserves better
Yeah.
treatment than that.
So it looks like the next one will be held in Romania in 2023. And I'm very happy they're not actually doing it at the same place and the same time as the Mr. Olympia, because I think it deserves its own venue and it needs to be special in its own right. So in this next clip, they're going to talk about, how old do you need to be a Masters Mr. Olympia and some of the qualifications for it. So let's take a listen.
Well, what do you change? You change the age requirement. Where do you set the bar as far as the age? At first, we said, okay, we'd like it to be at 40 and above. Well, there's still a lot of the top guys that are right there. And so, and not just the men's open, but all the other classes too. So I think maybe 45 might be the mark.
I think 45 years old is a very reasonable age to set the Masters Mr. Olympia. Right now, Masters is at 35, and I personally think that's too young. I think it should be 40 and above, and I think it would even be better at 45 and above for all Masters. I think it's kind of ridiculous that, if you're 50 and above, some shows they call you a Grandmaster. So in the next part of the segment, they're going to talk about, who they're hoping will come. Will people come out of retirement? And who's really going to be eligible. So let's take a listen to this part.
guys came back. I mean, it was guys came back out of retirement for 20 years, which I'd love to see. But nobody wants to compete against these guys that are still competing in there, just because nowadays the age is way up from where it was 30 years ago, where people retired at age 30, 35. Right now, they come into their prime in their 40s.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, what would be your suggestion on that? I mean,
my suggestion would be everybody, first of all, everybody that is that turned pro as a master is qualified.
Okay.
Everybody that no longer competes in the open, but has 40 years or whatever age limit.
Or what if they've been competing in the open and just not doing as well as the younger guys?
And then they stop, and then as soon as they compete in the Masters, they're done with the open. They can no longer compete there. So
I don't think that just because you compete in the open means that you can't compete in the Masters. I think Dennis James, saying at 40, I still think that's too young, but at 45, and at 45, you're just not doing as well, and you want to compete on the Masters stage, then why not? I think it should be open to anybody who is of the right age. Now, granted, if you're one of the top 10 in the world, why would you come to a Masters show when you can still really compete on the big open stage? So, that's something to think about.
compete in the open because they have to compete somewhere. It's not like they have plenty of master shows.
Yeah.
So most of the guys,
we're trying to change that.
Yeah.
I want to start adding more masters to our, all of our shows there, wherever we can.
So and have some prize money in the master shows too, because a lot of them don't even have prize money.
Yeah, I know that's the difficulty. I mean, from a promoter standpoint, what does the master show do for you? Well, it helps you make your room block. That's one thing. Masters competitors typically have more money to spend. Some promoters choose to charge the masters to compete and then offer prize money. So I don't have a clear idea on that right now.
I was very happy to hear Jake Wood talk about wanting to have more Masters shows. I did an interview a couple months ago with Gary Udit, and if you take a look at that, he is also really behind creating more Masters shows. There are a lot of us out there, a lot of master level competitors. We have disposable income, and we really enjoy the competition and going through the prep and doing all this stuff. So I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah, there's no real prize money in Masters competition, but we do it because we love the sport. I hope you enjoyed watching this interview, and I would love to hear what you have to say about Masters level competition. So make sure that if you have anything to say, that you create a comment, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And this is Yaakov Baram for Masters Muscle. Until next time.